Welcome to SDH's coverage of the USL Championship, and it's a very, very busy week. We'll take you backward, let you know what happened last week, take you forward, what to anticipate this weekend. One of those matches is Oakland in an East-West crossover. Oakland Roots head to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Anchor leg this week is going to be catching up with one of their local products raised in the East Bay, Emrah Klimenta, and it's going to be great to catch up with him to get just an overall look at what the turnaround has been for Oakland after their rough start, unbeaten in their last six, as they head into this match with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and get a look from a hometown perspective about what it's like to play for your hometown team. But let's get you into the weekend, the week that was, before we get you into the week that will be. Last week, game of the week, two teams in the East that have been making a lot of noise, Hartford and Pittsburgh, and this one was at Hartford Athletic. Big finish for the -101 Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Here's your highlights, courtesy of the USL Championship, ESPN Plus and YouTube.
It's Hartford in their home green and blue. There is the whistle, and he sends us on our way. It's the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Hartford Athletic tonight from Dillon Stadium in Hartford, Connecticut.
When they play at home, you can see just players not marking up good enough in the box, and it's this clever little touch.
But just a week ago, Jeff Caldwell saved a penalty. Can he come up with early magic here for Hartford Athletic again? Cicerone scores!
Brilliant run from Dixon, splitting that two center back channel, getting brought down, that half little touch, clinical finish from Cicerone on this PK. You can just see him stutter further as this game goes. He just needs to stay a little bit more central and have that partnership with Obregon up top.
Long cross coming into the back post. It's headed down and in.
It's a brilliant finish. This is a great cross in, though. It's spinning just behind this back four, far enough away from the goal.
Here's Dixon. Might have gotten in behind. Now he goes down. This is another decision. This one's a penalty. Tulu pleading his innocence. And is this a decision here from the referee? Was this a denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity? It's Alex Dixon for Pittsburgh, and a kick save! Brilliantly done by Jeff Caldwell again. It stays at 1-1. Barrera will send this in. There was a tug of the jersey. So it's Danny Barrera, the captain, to step to the spot, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way.
It's a foul in the pitch. It's going to be a foul in the 18-yard box. And Barrera, fantastic. Just calm, cool, collected from the spot.
Ups around a challenge. Now gets the cross away. Headed down. Dixon will take this. Dixon scores! Top corner!
Lacking, they weren't able to get numbers forward. They weren't able to get service inside the box, get numbers higher up the pitch. It's a great ball in from Armstrong, and just no defense picking up marker.
Forbes sends this in. Caldwell got something on it. Cicerone scores!
Late on in this match, touched on it earlier, set piece opportunities, not to give them up late, and you can just see him using his body, getting on that half turn.
Well, both teams gave pretty much everything they had tonight, but only one side can come away with 3 points, and that side is the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
Now let's go back and look at all of the matches from last week, starting with last Friday. Los Dos in a 3-2 shootout win at Las Vegas. The other matches from last Saturday, in addition to Hartford and Pittsburgh. Indy 11 shuts out Real Monarchs 2-0 in a crossover. Same score, Tampa Bay over Charlotte. Goalless draw, Charleston and Orange County SC. A lot of home teams won. Birmingham over Lou City 2-1. FC Tulsa beat Atlanta United 2-3-1. San Antonio over El Paso Locomotive 2-1. Oakland Roots beating Tacoma Defiance. Oakland Roots had a very, very busy week, beating Tacoma at Oakland 3-1. Colorado Springs, the Switchbacks, knock off Austin 4-1. Phoenix Rising in a shootout, 5 goals there. Knock off New Mexico United 3-2. San Diego Loyal, a plus 224 underdog on the road at Sacramento, get the 3-1 win as well. On the weekend as well, you had Sporting Kansas City 2 and Memphis in a goalless draw. Oklahoma City Energy beating Rio Grande 2-1. The Miami FC beats Red Bulls 3-0. Hartford Athletic in Charleston was postponed because of Hurricane Ida. Pittsburgh knocked off Red Bulls 2-1-0, so it was a 6-point week for the Riverhounds. Birmingham beats Sporting Kansas City 2-1-0 on the road. Same for OKC Energy at Memphis 901. San Antonio beats Real Monarchs at home 3-2. Los Dos in Sacramento a 3-3 draw. And then on your Thursday night to get the weekend started, Tacoma Defiance beats Las Vegas Lights by the score of 2-1. That takes us into the standings to get you ready for the weekend. Starting off in the East, in the Atlantic, Pittsburgh has won 3 in a row, unbeaten in their last 4. They're at 43 points. Tampa Bay, 3 matches in hand, though. They're only 3 points back, 13-1-6, unbeaten in their last 5. The Miami FC at 37. Charleston Battery right now in that 4th playoff spot in the Atlantic. They are at 28 points. But Hartford Athletic, although they have lost 4 of their last 5, at 8-3-8, they're at 27 points, goal difference of +4. 4 better than Charlotte Independence. Red Bulls 2 at 13 points. They've lost 5 in a row. They're 3-4-13. Loudoun United at 3-1-15 have 10 points, and they are last in the Atlantic. Central Division. Lou City and Birmingham. We know this one's going to come down to the end. Lou City, 20 matches played. They have 40 points. They've only gotten 1 point in their last 2 matches. Birmingham, 39 points. They've won their last 2. FC Tulsa has won 4 of their last 5. They are at 31 points. Then Oklahoma City Energy's at 29. They've played 22 matches, though. In the 11, below the playoff bar, they're at 26. Atlanta United 2's lost their last 2. They're at 25. They've played 22 matches, though. Memphis 901, 19 matches, 22 points. Sporting Kansas City 2, they played 23 matches on the year, but they only have 16 points at 3-7 and 13. Out west, Mountain Division, El Paso, 41 points, the only team with double-digit wins in the division. Colorado Springs, 9 points back at 32. San Antonio, they've won 4 of 5, 3 in a row. They're at 30. Rio Grande Valley, they've lost 4 of 5, including 2 in a row. They're at 29. Austin Bold below the playoff bar at 26. New Mexico United, they've drawn 4 of their last 5. They're at 25. And Real Monarchs, they've lost 4 of their last 5. They are at 16. Pacific Division, Phoenix Rising still 11 points clear of everyone else. And here's where the fun starts. San Diego Loyal at 30, Orange County SC at 30, Tacoma Defiance at 30. San Diego has more wins with 9. Orange County has more goals scored than Tacoma, 29-25. They both have +3 in goal difference. Now, Los Dos is at 23, as is Sacramento Republic. Oakland is at 20. They've won 3 in a row, and we'll get to the anchor leg in just a sec with Emrah Klimenta to talk about this great run of form that they have. But they have matches in hand, and they can make some noise. Vegas Lights, they've lost 5 in a row. They're now 5-2-14 with a goal difference of -20 at 17 points. So we mentioned Oakland and their recent run of form. So to find out everything you always wanted to find out about this recent run of form with Oakland Roots, it's time with our conversation with center back Emrah Klimenta. I guess my first question is, knowing that you are an East Bay guy, when Oakland came online, I know that you spent some time with Sacramento and you know about the USL Championship. When Oakland came online, what attracted you other than staying close to home? When Oakland reached out, what was your initial reaction?
I was excited. I was just excited for the Bay Area in general, right? Obviously, knowing the Raiders just left to Las Vegas, the only sports team we really had in the Bay Area were the A's, and specifically Oakland were the A's, right? The Warriors as well left to San Francisco, even though it's not that far of a drive. But when the news first hit that the Roots, were going USL, I got really excited, and I remember getting a call from a couple of my buddies that are in the Bay Area, and they said, "Hey, man, you coming home?" And so it was obviously always in the back of my head. But at the time, I was with San Diego, and so didn't know what was going to happen there, if I was going to be returning there or what. But my eyes were definitely on coming back home and representing the Roots.
For those that don't know, and I mean, they can look at the Bay Area when it comes to soccer, and they'll look at it from a bunch of different prisms depending on where they are here in the country. But for someone who's never seen really the footprint and what it means, what the sport means to the Bay, what does the sport mean to the Bay Area?
Oh man, it means everything. I mean, we've got some passionate fans, ask any Raider fan. out there. They're very passionate about their teams, and the Bay Area in general. I mean, Oakland especially is so raw. There's so much beauty to it. I think everybody was excited that there was going to be a professional soccer team coming to town, and like I said earlier, the Bay, Oakland specifically, needed another team to cheer for, and that's exactly what the Roots are giving them. And so Oakland is a special place, man. Everybody says, and we have this thing within the team is nobody comes in here and beats us. We're going to be a tough team to play. That's just kind of the grit of Oakland in general. And so I mean, it's a beauty. It's a beautiful thing. And honestly, I'm just happy to be able to represent it, especially in an inaugural year. This being my third inaugural season now in the USL with 3 different teams, of course. But it's fantastic, man. It's been a hell of a ride, but honestly, I don't think anybody would change it for anything. That's just kind of what Oakland is about: grinding and working hard, and becoming successful together, and it becoming to what the potential is, or what the potential can be, rather.
So I guess, I mean, it's safe to say that the Roots are the continual effort of the personification of Oakland. I mean, you mentioned the Raiders. When the A's were the Billy Bean Moneyball, you had those guys that were put together that just kind of understood that for whatever reason, the team that was there didn't want you, but we want you here because we can kind of personify what's going on. So the Roots are another personification of what you saw growing up and what you've been a part of as a fan.
100%. Obviously, being a Bay Area sports fan was not always easy, right? The Warriors, obviously, within this last 6-7 years or so, have been good, but other than that, it was a struggle. The A's are, as far as budgeting in the MLB goes, is a low budget team, but they bring some talent to Oakland, and they end up making the playoffs and doing well, going for it. But Raiders as well, had their struggles, ups and downs. So Oakland definitely is a place where you come and you learn a lot about yourself, really, as a player, as a person. And so I'm sure these other sports franchises are kind of similar to that. But when Oakland decided to join the USL, I think the reason people were so excited is because there was another, yes, they were NISA the year prior to that. Obviously, the USL is in a little bigger of a scale, but people were just excited, and one of my buddies on a team, Max, he was one of the first signings. He's an Oakland boy as well. And so, speaking to him about it just seeing people from the Bay Area, what it means to them that this team is now here is pretty amazing.
What's it like for you to be, I guess a flag bearer is probably the word that I would use, because you know what it means. You grew up there, and kind of paraphrasing The Rock from WrestleMania when it was at Levi's, when he said, "The Rock is an East Bay boy," and got all of the crowd, amped up in that moment. What's it like for you to be a flag bearer for something that hits as deeply as it does for you?
I mean, it's indescribable. I mean, like I said, I moved from Europe and we landed in Oakland, East Oakland to be exact. And so I was able to see what Oakland was all about for the first, I want to say, 5 years living there before moving to the East Bay, over to the Walnut Creek area. But me being on the team, honestly, it goes with what the Roots stand for, right? They wanted to bring home some talent within the USL, within the professional game, that are deeply rooted, if you will, from the Bay Area. And so, like I said, they brought me along. They brought a couple other guys along as well, and it goes to show that they want to display this talent, but also display, what is produced from Oakland or from the Bay Area that's obviously not been able to be represented there beforehand. And now it's all come full circle for me, especially. I mean, I'm 30, which I still think I've got a couple years left to play. But being back home is, if it does end here, it's what a beautiful way to end my career.
When it comes to the season and where we are right now, it took a while for things to get to full song for Oakland, unbeaten in your last 6. What's been the difference between that rough early start and now? What's been the difference?
I think us staying together. Honestly, the group of guys, we've had several meetings with just the players, and we said, hey man, if we're going to turn the season around, it's up to us, nobody else. Obviously, we've had some struggles in the beginning with injuries, with COVID protocols and all of that. And now, we've got our full team here, full strength, adding a couple pieces here and there. And as I said, the players have just come together and said, man, especially the guys that are from Oakland, said, hey, this is not what Oakland's about. We don't take losing lightly. We don't take what's going on here lightly. We want to change things around. And we all came together and said, let's play for one another. Let's play for the city of Oakland, and let's try to make a run. And the last 6 games, I mean, you could tell on the field as well that, things have been clicking because us players put trust in one another, and we're just working hard. We know that we can win ugly games. We know we can win pretty. We can win any which way. And that's just kind of who we've been for the last 6 games.
2 matches in hand, and you are 3 points away from pushing that much closer to the playoff bar. Right now, as you and I are talking, it's 7 points to get to where Tacoma is. If you could describe Oakland Roots soccer on the pitch when things are going the way that you're looking to do it, how would you best describe the style of play? Since we've talked about philosophy, I guess let's get into style and tactics. What is the style of Oakland Roots when things are going well?
I'd say definitely a possession team with purpose, right? We try to keep the ball as much as possible, make the other team run, try to, double the amount of passes that the other team has. And then obviously within the last 6 games, a lot of our goals have come over high press and turning teams over in the final third and going towards goal and being able to put the ball across the face of the goal. And obviously, luck plays a huge role as well in this game, as everyone knows. So ball has been bouncing our way, and we've been able to put it in the back of the net. But I definitely say we're a team that, depending on who we play, right? We could play the long ball, we could play the possession game, we could play the grinded out game, or we can simply just beat a team by pressing them, turning them over, and scoring on them right then and there. But I think the team is built around players that love to play the game, not necessarily a boot it forward and run type team. We've got Jose Hernandez on a team that's 5'5", 5'6", he's not going to win very many headers. So a very technical player, and we utilize him in pockets to, be able to turn and create. And so we've got a very creative bunch of players. And I think the style would be a possession based with a purpose to go forward and try to score goals.
And part of the way that the schedule is structured this year with the USL Championship, you get these East-West crossover games. Next one up for you is a tall order there in Tampa on Friday night. What has study hall been like getting ready for this one? And I'll ask about the travel in a separate question. But what has study hall been like getting ready for a very tough team in the Rowdies?
Just watching film on them, getting familiar with their style of play. We know they've got some good players, some talented players, some players that have been in the league for a while, and players that have been together for a while. So we know that they're first, I believe, in their division at the moment. And so I know they're tough to beat at home as well. This is my first time playing against them here. So it's going to be tough, but a team that's, 6 unbeaten, three wins in a row on the bounce here. We're feeling confident as ever. Like I said, the group's come together and we're really backing one another, and we're backing ourselves to produce, a good game and hopefully walk away with some points. 3 points is the key, is the main goal everywhere we go. But it's certainly going to be tough tomorrow. But as I said, just getting familiar with them, the players they have, the tendencies, and like every other game, nothing out of the ordinary. Just studying film and focusing on us, focusing on how we're going to play, how we're going to approach the game.
When it comes to travel, and this is something that I like to ask the athletes that we have on the network, I think fans sometimes may not necessarily understand the travails of travel, for lack of a better word, and just how difficult it may be in this day and age to hop on a plane, go from one coast to the other, play a game, make sure that you're as healthy as you can be, make sure that nothing can go wrong where you won't have muscle pulls or anything like that from all of the plane rides and all of the other elements that go into it. I guess, what are some of the misconceptions that you could probably put to rest about how tough travel is in the USL Championship?
It's as tough as you make it. Traveling in general is will get you tired, will get you fatigued, and it just stinks, it takes up your day. But especially if coast to coast, we traveled, I think 5.5 hours, I think the flight was direct from San Francisco to Tampa. But we also traveled a day earlier. So usually if we're going to Las Vegas or we're going to, anywhere else on the West Coast, we're going day before the game. Here we travel 2 days before the game just so we can have that extra day of rest and getting used to the weather and time change and all that. But travel, it's not easy. Honestly, it's what you make of it. I watched 2 movies and slept a little bit. Some other guys worked on some things, homework or this or that. And so it's tough, especially when you get there and the time difference and, you're not going to bed till 1 a.m. because back on the West Coast, it's 10 p.m., and then you got to wake up and adjust to the climate, adjust to the weather. And boy, Tampa, the humidity is no joke, but it's not as bad, honestly. It sounds a lot worse than it is, but I think majority of guys have said that the flight was smooth and everybody's feeling good.
When it comes to Oakland, let me go 2 more questions here, and thanks for hanging out and answering this stuff. When it comes to soccer, who did you grow up? Who were the posters on your wall growing up, and who did you try to model your game after as you were learning the game itself?
Well, it's funny. I'm a defender now, but I wasn't always a defender. I didn't transition to right back until 2014 when I joined up with Sac Republic. I always played winger, the 6, 7, 8, anything but defender. I hated defending. And then Preki, which I'm sure we all know, had this wild idea, which he has many of them, of putting me at right back. And it sort of worked out and I kind of went with it and it stuck to me. But growing up, I supported Chelsea. I started supporting Chelsea back in 2000, 2001 or so. Gianfranco Zola was one of my dad's favorite players. So, a crafty guy. But I also used to like the Galacticos. Zidane was probably one of my favorite players growing up, just the elegance, how smooth he was on the ball. Big Ronaldo, original fat Ronaldo. He was just, powerful, flair, fun to watch. Ronaldinho, all those guys. And then obviously, I think there was a point in everybody's career or life rather, where Cristiano Ronaldo was kind of, a poster boy with all the moves, the flair, the fashion, trying to look good and this and that, the high socks. So that guy as well. But not until, like I said, I turned into a defender that I start trying to model my game after, some of the best right backs and center backs in the world. My favorite player who's hated by a lot is Sergio Ramos, right? The tenacity, he's good on the ball, smart, also likes to get forward and score goals. So
playing into his mid-30s.
Right, exactly. So I think he's Van Dijk is obviously up there. Got to put some respect on his name as well. But for me, Sergio Ramos has to be probably my favorite defender in the last 7, 8 to 10 years or so. So then, also given he was a right back, that transition into a center back made it a lot easier for myself as well to look up to him and watch his play.
The marauding right back, no question about it. All right. So last question for you. If you could compare your game and your mentality and your mindset to an Oakland Raider, what Oakland Raider would you have modeled your game after, perhaps, growing up? Lester Hayes?
Nah, Charles Woodson.
Okay, there you go.
Just heart, grit, toughness. He was a baller too. Was respected, leader. So I'd say him. He was. I initially wanted to take number 24 this year, but they said I couldn't because of Marshawn Lynch. He came on board to be one of the investors, and so they reserved that number for him. But I definitely say Charles Woodson.
And that was why I wanted to ask about the Raiders and how things are a part of the fabric for you and everyone attached to the Oakland Roots. Emrah, thanks for hanging out with us here on the USL SDH on the USL Championship. Thanks for pulling the curtain back on a team that's had a great run there in the West, unbeaten in your last 6, heading into a great test for you guys going to Al Lang to take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Thanks for hanging out with us here on SDH.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
That gets you ready for the weekend. We mentioned what's going on Friday. Tampa Bay, a -189 at home, hosting Oakland Roots, who are almost a +500 as we're talking. Also at 7:30 Eastern, Lou City and FC Tulsa. Lou City is a -222. Your draw is a +384. FC Tulsa is a +457. 10 o'clock Eastern, Orange County SC is a +187 underdog as El Paso comes to town. El Paso is a +137. On your Saturday, there are 8 matches and then 3 more on your Sunday, so we'll go through them really quickly. Early start, Sporting Kansas City 2 is a +131 favorite at home as Oklahoma City Energy comes to town. 7 o'clock, Charlotte Independence, a +137. The Miami FC is a +154 as they visit Charlotte. 7 o'clock, Indy 11, a -159 as Atlanta United 2 comes to town. They are a +324. Your draw is a +328. Red Bulls 2, Hartford Athletic. This one is dead even across the board, both in and around +150. Your draw is a +252. 8 o'clock Eastern, Memphis a +148 as Birmingham visits at a +166. Your draw is a +2.25. At 8:30, RGV is a -196 as Loudoun United comes to town at a +459. San Antonio is a +137 as Pittsburgh comes to town at a +172. That one's interesting. And also at 9:30, New Mexico United a +139. Colorado Springs a +149. Your draw is a +278. On Sunday, 3 matches. At 4:30 Eastern, Tacoma is a +450 underdog at home as Phoenix Rising comes to town at a -196. San Diego's a -128 as Los Dos comes to Torero at a +278. Your draw is about the same. 10 o'clock Eastern on your Sunday. It is Vegas Lights, a +202 underdog as Sacramento Republic comes to town. The Republic are a +114, and your draw is a +247. Other news and notes. Don't forget, you can go to uslchampionship.com and you can find out your nominees for the Championship Player of the Month brought to us by our friends at Clear Audio. It is Russell Cicerone, Haji Berry, Junior Flemings, Evan Loro, and Alex Dixon. So Cicerone, 6 goals in 6 games, half of them getting a hat trick against Atlanta United 2. He moves into 2nd place in the Golden Boot race. Haji Berry, on a record-setting pace, once again, 6 goals in 6 games, has 20 on the season, 1 assist, 7 key passes. Junior Flemings from Birmingham, after he came back from Gold Cup, 4 goals, 2 assists in 6 appearances. Evan Loro, 4 shutouts in 5 matches, 9 saves, a save percentage of 88.9, including a penalty kick save, and an undefeated month for the Rowdies. Alex Dixon, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 appearances for Pittsburgh, 8 key passes, 3 big chances. So those are your nominees for Championship Player of the Month in August. Go to uslchampionship.com to make your vote available there. The Toros at RGV, they have acquired attacking midfielder Emilio Ecaza via transfer from Austin. So he'll be there to add firepower for Wilmer Cabrera for the remainder of the season. 26-year-old spent the second half of the 2019 season with San Antonio, 8 goals and an assist in 14 matches. First half of 2019 was spent with Los Dos, 6 goals and an assist. Don't forget, download all of the information that you need to know when it comes to the USL Championship. Once again, go to uslchampionship.com, get all of your most recent scores, get your shopping done, social media, everything that you need to know. Go to uslchampionship.com. If you can make it to a match this weekend, go for it. Quality soccer across the board, some tight division races. We know we're going to be there for the final third of the season. And if you can't, catch it on local coverage or go to ESPN Plus to get all of the information and all of the fantastic action that you have involving the USL Championship. That is SDH's coverage of the USL Championship. Once again, shout out to the Oakland Roots and Emrah Klimenta for being our guest this week to break down everything there in the championship. Enjoy the matches, everybody. Play it safe. I'm just John. We'll catch up with you next time.